Chase, how you doing, brother?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Doing well, sir.
How are things there today?
Busy, getting ready for a big board meeting tomorrow. Board's coming in tonight. We'll have a dinner. Innocent Sheila and I with the board, with our president, and then tomorrow's presentations.
Okay, good deal. How's
How you doing?
good, good. I'm in Uganda now. Got
Oh,
here.
are you?
Yes, sir. Got here late last night. Left Monday early and arrived late last night. So
How'd you fly out there?
we flew Ethiopia, which was always a struggle, but this time it actually went pretty smooth.
So where do you go from Atlanta?
Atlanta direct flight to Ethiopia, and
And then you catch
then
another plane into
yeah,
Entebbe?
yes, sir. And it's like an hour layover, so a real short layover in Ethiopia, and then fly into Entebbe. Got here about uh, midday, noon, and then drove. It takes about 6.5, 7 hours to get here where we're at. So I'm just northeast of Gulu.
It's a heck
Actually,
of a drive, heck of a travel plan. How you feeling? Still
oh yeah, still adjusted.
Yeah, it takes me about 3 days before I'm fully engaged. My staff doesn't care about me though. They just put me right to work. I'll fly in at midnight one, get the hotel at three. They expect me at the office at eight, smiling, joking, and
Yeah,
stuff.
ready to party.
Sheila doesn't care. She's heartless. Hey, Sheila, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you. I'm sorry.
Hi, Chris. So you need to be nice because next time I'll just have you from the airport to the office like I did for Alex.
Exactly. Just start working right
Yeah,
away.
right away. Well,
Well,
I
we're
kind of know
blessed.
the feeling. I've already started
We're,
working on a toilet here for the mission house. It's got a
yeah.
leak, so
What was the flight time from Atlanta to Ethiopia?
I think it's 14 and a half hours.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Good plane. Is it a modern plane?
Yeah, yeah, it's one of the newer Boeing 787 B, I think.
Yeah,
So
I got to figure out the cheapest that I've always done it is through Brussels, Europe, but the planes are so old that yeah, it hurts your bones.
yeah, Ethiopia has new planes, but they have a harder time organizing themselves.
They've always had that problem.
Yeah. So, all right. Is Gail joining us today?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. All right. Well, let me open this up. Any prayer requests from the team?
Yeah, Sheila, your daughter, feeling better?
No, she's going to the hospital today. They didn't take her yesterday.
Hmm.
I haven't heard from them this morning, but we have a good plan on how that's happening. Uh, my mom, my mom would be a prayer request.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your
And
daughter is taking, I mean, your mom's taking your daughter?
no, my mom's sick.
Oh, your mom is sick.
Yeah,
And her daughter is too, right?
my daughter
Yeah,
is sick.
both. I got it.
Yeah.
A hard time to be away then, huh?
Yeah, so on that note, I'll be very glad to still be able to fly out on Thursday.
Yeah, that is praying for they're going through Doha, and unfortunately, that was a little bit of excitement this week.
Yeah, I saw all that.
We're praying for all the excitement to go down, not just for
Yes,
flights, but generally for
Right.
peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
it's been a good 24 hours, Sheila, so I'm praying that it will continue.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, let me open this up with prayer. God, we come to you today. We're so thankful that you brought us here again, Lord, that we can talk about this project that you've got planned, Lord, here in northern Uganda. We pray that you be with the team, the designers, the engineers, Martin and Kasana, Sheila, Chris, Gail, everybody involved, Lord. I just pray that you be with them, give them wisdom and knowledge as they work through this. Lord, I just pray that you help us at Third Lens to help organize and guide the project, Lord, for your success and your glory. Lord, be with Sheila as she's traveling away from family. Her daughter and her mother are sick, Lord. We pray healing for them, that you will bring about the people and the doctors and nurses to help heal their bodies, Lord, and right medication. Lord, I pray that you be with Sheila as she travels back home. Lord, we pray for safe flights, safe travel, that get her back home to her family and there's no complications. Lord, be in our meeting today, Lord, guide our thoughts and our actions. Help us, Lord, as we make decisions. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
All right. So I apologize. I did not get an agenda out as I was traveling. I thought I'd be able to do it on the airplane, but I had 3 kids that were helping take my attention away. So, but the main focus, I think, today is letting Martin kind of update us where we're at, along with our architect selection. I know we've got a meeting after this one, with the architect to try to determine negotiation, on their scope of work. So, Martin, if you don't mind starting us off with that, and then we can roll into other important information that you have for us.
Okay, thank you very much. Last week we started on the evaluation of the architect, both technically and financially. We had 2 architects submitting, the real architects and Jerusalem architects. It turned out that the Jerusalem architects did well with a score of 80% against 59. We went ahead and did analysis, a value check for JIL to determine whether indeed what they submitted is true and would be within what we propose would be our budget, which could be at around 65,000, but we had set from the previous meeting a ceiling budget of about 55,000. From our analysis, we realized that we could actually make a saving of about $9,000 from a ceiling of $55,000. We critically looked at all items that they submitted, including the reimbursables and expenses that they're likely to incur during the execution of the design review and approval and contract administration. So I had earlier on shared those tables.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes. So these are points where we zeroed on the final figure. So we looked at their first table and we reviewed the likely places where we can reduce the cost. So they had submitted a civil works engineer and a structures engineer. Well, this is one person that is needed in a project. A structures engineer and a civil works engineer can be one person. So what we decided to do was to halve the months for these 2, so that we have 6 months, but considering the 2 jobs, which can be done by one person in the 12 months if they decide to take on one civil engineer for the work. So the terms of reference will be clearly defined during the negotiation, and we expect them to resubmit the updated terms of reference for the civil engineer. We also went ahead to look at the electrical engineer and the plumbing engineer, whose engagement we need for 4 months. That is during site commissioning, first fix, second fix, inspections, and then approvals, which can be done within 4 months. But these 4 months can be broken down into Mondays. specifically for the assignment that we need them for. Just move to table 2.3. So the other thing that we looked at, these are expenses they are likely to incur: producing draft drawing 1 and 2, producing submission drawings and construction drawings. This is already done by EMI, and that cost, we should pull it out. What we considered is their submission to the board, the building committee, which is Omoro District Local Government. So that cost we kept. The cost of servicing the software, we also kept it. The colored printer and servicing their car, these costs we kept. So we revised the value from 8,000 to 4,000, making a saving of about 4,000. Move on to the next table. We also looked at the reimbursable costs, which is the communication, transport, rent, and data. They looked at, they had proposed communication cost of $3,789, which we cut down to cater for the 7 consultants that had submitted. Each consultant would get 50,000 Uganda shillings, and then the 50,000 would be used for their office management, so that they have a telephone at office, while the other one serves the consultants. Transport, Kampala, they had submitted 3 million Uganda shillings. When we looked at the current hiring costs of a car, which is at 250,000 to 350,000 for a fancy car, including fuel, would make a saving and would have it at 1.5 million. The trips they had considered 12, so it brings down our cost as well. The rent of an office in Gulu, that one we maintained. The price of data, that one we cut it because at office we're using about 250,000 per month against 1,440,000, which is very high. Going to the summary of the revised costs, their submitted value comes to 70,706.84. So when we revise the value, it comes to 41,000 as compared to 70,000. So which is a huge saving. This calls for further negotiation. So that is why we decided that we should further negotiate. So a saving of about 35% is what we get. So we had set from the previous meeting a ceiling of about 55,000. So from the analysis, we save 9,000. Now this 9,000 is what we shall use as our contingency sum. In the event that we have variations in the assignment, then the 9,000 will cater for this. Yeah, so from the discussion that we're going to have at 4:15 with Jerusalem Architects, we expect them to accept the offer, and then we expect them to break down the scope of the work so that it is within the budget that we have to offer. Besides that, we have an in-house team. So services like the quantity surveyors service, that is taken into consideration. We have generated the BOQs. We are on site supervising. So having an extra consultant on site every day is not actually necessary. So this cost, the service that we are offering brings down the cost. to that ceiling value that we propose. So I think the 55,000 is a fair deal for this assignment because it is basically stamping and approvals.
And that's the
Approve
thing.
work,
Yeah.
approve of inspection of works. So it is pretty much the same thing that we are looking at.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm hoping that they agree.
Yeah. And Chris, the other thing we'll be negotiating is the timeline for this work, because the timeline they're proposing is higher than what we need. So the conversation is what the work you're expecting to do is already done. What we need is for you to review this and get them approved. That's it. There's not much change that you're going to do. We need them approved.
So certainly the organization has a vote on this. And what if they say, no, we're busy, we won't do this for less than 60,000?
They're less busy. We've looked at the work they have because the other guys the ones we dropped who came in at 100K,
Yep.
they have a pretty busy plate. So because what our focus really is getting them approved. Now, the site supervision, that's what we're even negotiating down. If you're busy, we actually don't need you that much at the site. So this works for you because you're taking on additional work that doesn't require much input from you, except for the next 1 month. And that's
Yeah.
marketing. And they're already in Gulu. These guys, when I talked to them, he was actually in Gulu the last time when we were in Gulu with the Austins at last. He was in Gulu that day. So he actually already has a presence in Gulu. It wouldn't be that taxing for him.
No, that makes sense. Martin, going back to the last time we talked about this, I don't know, it was a week or so ago. Can't remember my days. You made the statement that if we lowball them too much, it'll exacerbate them and they'll have a bad attitude coming in to do this project. You've done a very good job of laying down facts, not emotions, in your rationale for why it should be a lower submission for the cost of this. So well done. So you're taking the emotions out. Any concerns? Have you interacted with them? I know you and Sheila and everybody really like them. Any concerns that they'll have an attitude issue with? They negotiated too hard and stuff.
The issue of the attitude is this. Good enough, what we have so far is able to manage the administration of this project. Myself, Paul, and Third Lens, we are already adequate. What we need on the team for after stamping is the team leader, the structural engineer, the architect himself, the electrical engineer, and the electromechanical engineer, who can be the same engineer. Now, these guys are not going to be residents on our site. So these emotions will be taken away. Besides that, the interaction that we'll have with the consultant is that, look, I am giving you 12 months, but in these 12 months, I do not need these consultants for the entire month. I need him for 2-3 days. So that is why Chase had earlier on proposed that let them break down the hourly rate of these consultants so that in the event we are involving them for the extra work, which is say review this section of work, how much do you think you will charge? How many hours will you take to do this piece of work? If that say 3 days, which is about 24 hours, how much are we going to pay for that service? So the emotions are removed based on the assignment we are offering to them and the clarity in the scope that we are giving them. So as we engage them at 4, we will try to bring out and air out to them that this is the scope that we have to be done. It is review the drawings. After you've reviewed them, submit them. How long will it take for you to have these drawings submitted? And when they get submitted, what do you think should be done in order to have this project as a success. Once they give this to us, then we should be in position to draw the extent to which we need their engagement. We already have job descriptions for this assignment. So we are covered in terms
Okay.
of quality assurance and quality control. So we are confident that our in-house team should be in position to deliver. We've done enough to see that we get started. So basically we need them for stamping and on a very small scale for contract administration and post-contract, which is in the defects liability period, of which we are also okay. So certain aspects of this assignment are expected to be moved out, like the role of the quantity surveyor. Already we have the PE who is a quantity surveyor. So issues related to payments, we shall be making the interim certificates. They will be doing the certification just to review and confirm the figures and the measurement sheets. So we are safe.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. All I would say is great job. Really great analysis by you all to come back professionally and really look at that. Very grateful for you putting the work in for that.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yeah, I think Martin, he's done a great job putting that together. Any updates, Martin, on currently where we're at with the pre-work on the site, getting prices for clearing and grading, getting prices for the dump trucks, all of the preliminary work?
Yeah, we've done a ground check with the procurement officer, that is George. We have visited a couple of carbons to find out which truck we can use. We visited Sinotruck, Sharkman to compare the prices. The price of what we need for the big truck is still high. It's standing out to be between 67,000 to 70,000. That is the price that we have for the dump truck. So meaning we might not be in position to get the small dump truck given the budget that we have. However, costing the fence and sharing with the guesser who is on ground to determine whether we can do a cost saving and what else, we came up with the price of 95 million Uganda shillings for the fence. The other item that we looked at is the site grading, site clearance. Site clearance, we are a little short by 8 million Uganda shillings. When we engage various suppliers of equipment, the assignment will take 5 days. So equipment and the consumables, the lubricants, come to 70 million. So we do not have the cost of having the flagmen who are going to control the traffic and redirect the pedestrians who are moving on the road, including the surveyor, will not be in position to cater. So we'll need an extra 8 million Uganda shillings to be included in the site clearance. However, we have the access road, we have the burn pit. These other items, we can look at them as well and optimize and pick some monies, redirect it to site clearance. When you were to look at the tank tower as well, just tank tower, the water tank, 15,000. We have 21 million Uganda shillings from our estimate. The tools from what we have compiled together, come to about 321 million Uganda shillings. So we could play with all these costs and redirect somewhere to see that we are covered in the dump trucks and the site clearance. The rest of the items are okay. We are safe.
So, Martin, what you need to do, the summary we're working on for Gail that shows her when we are collecting that money,
Yes.
go and put the budget amount and our final amount that we've landed at,
Yes.
so that we can see that. Then once we have that money and we've spent within the budget, what we've agreed is we go back to this budget and put the change orders. That will tell us how much money we actually have, because we're trying to delay some of this purchases, like the dump truck. If we can push it earlier, we start off with hiring as we wait on the tax exemption. So
That is okay.
yeah, so what we need
To
do
do a
is
value engineering for
start registering what will be our actual basis of all the quotations that you sent me, what then we land at. Because if we've chosen to go with whoever we've chosen to go with, if we come in at a lower amount of money, then we know that that is a registered saving. And if we register it here, we cannot reallocate it because we want to avoid double spends on saved amounts. Yeah.
That is true. That is why in the tools we have tried where we do not have to quote the same item, we have decided to put on one item of the preliminary. So we have tried to do that as much as possible.
Yeah, let's just put it here because that's more summarized for us to see. And when I have the conversation with Gail, it's straightforward. It's
Okay.
this time frame, this is how much we'll be asking for.
Okay, I'll do that.
That's the total I'm taking to put in the board prep.
I'll do that. Thank you. So looking at the case of the BOQs, we are left with toilets and bathrooms, which we are doing the takeoffs, and then we fill in our template. So Friday we'll have the BOQs ready.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. How so far, Martin, what are you seeing with the BOQs? How are we looking compared to what EMI gave us?
We are closer to the value that they are offering per square meter. Though, of course, the method they are using is called a superficial area method, whereby you have the total area of a building vis-a-vis the cost indices that are prevailing in the market. The
Right.
cost index is between 1.2 million Uganda shillings to about 2.4 million Uganda shillings, which gives you a square meter value of about $400 to $480 per square meter, based on the complexity of the building. For example, the main building, the STEM buildings, the library, and the services that are involved in that building. That is what pushes the value of a particular building up. So the fact that we are including certain items in the BOQ, like joinery and fittings, it somehow increases on the value of the per square meter. The highlights that we should expect from the BOQ is not so much of the walls. The walls are not actually expensive. What is expensive is the roof. That is what is expensive. And then we expect to do some value engineering, if accepted, in the foundation, because we will make a very good saving of about 25 to 35% if we use the local brick. So that is subject to discussion. We should tender in the value engineering check, and we have a discussion whether we should go for the local brick throughout the entire foundations of all the buildings for this project. So that is the highlight, basically. All the materials, we almost have what we have in Gulu. The cement block, which is the partition wall in some buildings, like the admin block, the toilets, the staff houses, the dormitory, those are available in Gulu. We can buy them from Hare. We have already got the cost of the concrete block. The factory brick is available through the agencies. All the steel, all the iron sheets, we should expect that from Roofings Uganda Bati, Steel and Tube. The timber is available locally. And then the workers are also available. The contractor to do, that should come in after the architect of record. So within next week, should this discussion that we are having with the Jerusalem architects go on successfully, then we should engage the contractor.
Okay. Is there any way, let's say that it takes long with the architect, could we go ahead and get the contractors on board, get those discussions happening to not
Yeah,
delay?
we should be able to proceed with the discussions with the contractors, and
Okay.
because I expect that their contracts will take longer
Yeah.
to complete,
Yeah.
especially the way we want to do separate contracts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the contractor needs a minimum of 3 weeks to fill in their BOQ.
Yeah. Martin, you were talking about the roof being so expensive. Is there any cost savings that you see we can do to save on the roof price?
I think given the design that we have, the roof is not expensive given the design.
Okay. So it's just the material.
It's just the material that we opted for that.
Okay.
Durability check is what we looked at. If you're to look at the value engineering for the roof, it's not about which material, but it is about the aspects of durability, the aspect of beauty, maintainability. These are the things that are highlights for this roof. So should we change, then we will lose out on what the roof is offering to our design.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How's Gasana doing? Is he doing pretty good?
Yeah, is catching up, polishing him here and there. It's getting better.
Okay. Good
Yes.
to hear. Okay. So with the meeting today with the architect, let's say that they do not come back and do not want to budge on the budget. They want to stay where they're at. Do we have any other options beyond? I know the other architect beyond this one was hired. Do we have any other options if we need a plan B?
Yeah, there are options.
Would be
Yeah.
engaging from the start. Would
Yeah.
be engaging from zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not too far off from zero with these two groups. So we sent out the RFP, but I think we could easily do that with one more group if we had to, right?
Yes, we would.
And
It would
maybe we
time.
could. I was going to say maybe we could expedite it instead of sending the RFP out. Maybe we could just have a conversation with them.
That would just have to give them a conversation and say, well, they still need to have something to be able to quote.
Yeah.
Would give them the RFP and ask, instead of asking them to do the whole RFP filled out, give us their time, who they would be working with, how much money, and then would negotiate those.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, praying that this conversation today goes well and we won't have to do that.
Yes.
Um, Martin, are we still good next week to meet either the 2nd or the 3rd? Is that still your plan to travel to Gulu those days?
Yes, on 30th, we're moving to Gulu.
Okay, if you'll send me your schedule so that I can plan to meet you over there at the site and maybe in Gulu town, that would be helpful.
I'll do so
Okay.
after
And
the
will
meeting.
Gastana be with you, you said?
Yes, we'll be with him because the purpose of the travel is to see that we settle in so that we could start part of the works and then see how we could permanently settle in Gulu, because the BOQs has been the main thing that has been keeping us here, and then also the architect of record. So with the contractor coming in, that we can discuss when we are in Gulu and have everything the other side. The other thing is also to have where to stay when we start the project, because on 7th to 12th, we intend to do the site clearance. So between 30th and 7th, we should have equipment on site to do the site clearance.
Okay.
Yes, and then also engage the land surveyor to do the topo survey so that we can have control points for the drainage
Okay.
and
All right.
site layout.
And you already have his price, correct?
For the architect, for the land surveyor, yes.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
basically equipment and then his service charge per day.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good deal. All right. So it's going to share my screen, but I'm having trouble with Smart Sheets. Will, can you pull up the KPIs? I'm having trouble getting in right now. I don't know if it's because I'm working from a VPN or not.
Yeah, let me get those open real quick.
Just wanted to walk through kind of our next steps. We've kind of discussed most of the hot topic items, the architect, the contractor, and the preliminary budget and the BOQ. Is there any word, Sheila, when the VAT tax exemption might take place?
So we're waiting on that. The initial feedback says we would need to, for the construction materials and things we want, that would have to take a specific route. So we're waiting for feedback on that specifically. We did send back feedback, though the initial feedback is that we'll be getting it, at least we have an approval or positive feedback so far.
Okay.
So we don't have a time frame yet on that.
Okay.
We are trying to do sort of a phased purchase for the things that we need to buy
Yeah.
and keep them delay what we can. That doesn't delay the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something else was this month we were supposed to receive EMI's second set on phase 2. I know there was discussions between them on the chapel and the
Yeah. They're supposed to give it to us end of the month.
right.
So once we give them feedback on the chapel, and I don't know, that might delay them because of those two structures. But we
That's
might the rest.
yeah, we might have to give them some more time from the way his email read that they were kind of pushing towards that. So I don't see a problem with giving them more time. Do you at this point?
For completing the chapel and the cloister, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
They should be able to give us the rest of what's complete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sheila, I mean, if they give us everything minus those two and they need more time, that's fine. It gives us something to start working on when we have time to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll relay that message here shortly via email.
Mm.
Okay. All right. I think we've covered all the hot topic items. Sheila or Martin, or is there anything else that you wanted to cover today in today's meeting?
No, it is basically the next meeting that I look forward to, the
Yeah,
architects of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chris, is there anything else that you wanted to go over in today's meeting?
Yeah, just well internally, Sheila Martin, need the timeline of when Martin, Paul are moving up there to coincide when's best for me to come before the groundbreaking and then stay afterwards. Two objectives. One to spend the majority of the time up in Gulu with Martin or Paul, and then last. Second thing is building a proposal for the lean engineering for the foundations. We need to gin that up quickly so we can get that in front of Mr. Radler and the board just to say, look, here's our recommendation minus these specific buildings like the main hall, library or something, but everything else, we recommend this. It'll be a 25, 35% savings, yada, yada, yada. We need to put a 1 or 2 pager together, very simple of our recommendation and probably sooner rather than later on that. And then, yeah, Martin, just let us know how the negotiations go. Are you staying on the call for those two, Sheila?
For right now,
For is the negotiations with the architects right after this call?
it's at 4:15, so it's just after this.
Okay. Are you on that? Are you doing that too?
No, I have the board. I'll be in office.
Okay. All right. So we'll
It's
just find
Max and
out
I.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be on a good portion of that call.
All right, Chase, thanks. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I
Martin,
wanted to let you know, and I know this is kind of outside of your scope, but I've got a videographer here with me at this other ministry. And if y'all need any video work, he'll be in country for 3 weeks. I reached out to Courtney, never heard back from her. So if that's something that y'all are interested in, getting maybe some before footage of the land, he's going to ride over with me and do some video work for Third Lens. But just FYI.
yeah, let's talk to Courtney and see if there's a need with Chase, today sometime.
Okay.
And Chase, do you know what our Chase, our For Africa Chase? We also have a Chase too. What would be the extra cost? Can you let me know what that would be for them to do that?
Yeah, I'll ask him. He had mentioned it a couple of weeks ago when I told him what I was doing. Brian had, with our president, had reached out to him to do just some quick snippets for Third Lens to be able to share. And I told him that I'd be working with y'all. And he didn't really give me a price, but told me to let you know that he would be there in case anything was needed. So I'll ask him here today and shoot you an email.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else either. I appreciate everybody's time today, and we'll be sending out the action items from this meeting along with the meeting minutes here shortly. All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon, and Martin, I'll see you shortly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Good luck.
Thanks.